hydrogen is so interesting. So hydrogen has one electron, and we know this because it's in group 1. I've mentioned a couple times that our elements want to acquire 8 electrons. Well, hydrogen and helium are super, super small, so they're exceptions to the 8. They're so small that they want 2 electrons. So hydrogen has 1 electron, and it wants 2 electrons. It wants to look like helium. So it needs to gain 1 more electron. When you gain an electron, you become negative. So this image right here is of H-. We see many examples, stuff like chlorine and bromine. When it picks up that extra electron, we change the name to chloride or bromide. So after hydrogen gains that 1 electron, it becomes hydride. How do you know that something's negative? Well, I use the position in the formula. What I mean by that, if you look at 9a, lithium is first, so usually the positive ion is first, and hydrogen is second, so that's going to be negatively charged. You can also just look at the ending on the name. And for instance here, it says sodium hydride. We have to go into all this detail because hydrogen can also do a +1 charge. It's in group 1, so it can also lose 1 electron. There's 2 options for hydrogen. So here we're talking about it gaining an electron. So we got sodium. Sodium's first, so it's going to be the positive. And then we got H, hydride, H negative, +1 -1. So this is going to combine in a 1-to-1 ratio, and we're going to have NaH as our formula. So here we have calcium, 2+, hydride, which is going to be a -1, crisscross, and we're going to have CaH2. Lithium, and since hydrogen's in the second position, we know it's negative, and we're going to give it that "-ide" ending. Aluminum, hydride. How does a diatomic molecule differ from a polyatomic molecule? We can use the prefixes of these words to figure out their definitions. So di means 2. A diatomic molecule has 2 atoms. Examples of diatomic molecules include hydrogen gas, nitrogen gas, but it doesn't have to be 2 of the same element. We can also include things like carbon monoxide. So we would classify carbon monoxide as a diatomic molecule because it has 1 atom of carbon and 1 atom of oxygen. Polyatomic includes diatomic. The prefix poly means many, and so polyatomic molecules include things that have 2 or more atoms. So our diatomic molecules, like chlorine gas, would make the list, but then we can expand this to substances like H2O, which has 3 atoms in it, or hydrogen peroxide, H2O2, which then has 4 atoms. Question 11, does a diatomic molecule always have to have the same 2 elements? And the answer is no. It may contain 2 different elements. So earlier I gave the example of carbon monoxide, but things like hydrochloric acid, which is hydrogen and chloride, would also make the cut.